Are we live? My catchphrase.
We're just trying to make it happen.
I'm making it happen.
We're gonna make it happen. I'm building feet today.
Oh boy.
So get ready, Wiki Feet.
No.
We're doing AT-AT feet.
Wiki feet?
Uh-huh.
We don't need to talk about wiki feet. Oh boy. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is Fireside Chats with Alex and Molly.
Very chill, open. Not that we're like crazy normally.
It's fine. We've had a crazy day today. We've just been hitting it. We recorded our Q&A, and then we did a podcast. And
we did a news video.
Oh yeah, we did a news video, and now we're here. And then after this, we're doing some other stuff. Or I am.
I'm doing other stuff too.
Well, not online. You're doing real life stuff.
And I recorded a 20-minute video today. It's been a busy week.
I worked out.
Despite Boba, I did not do that. Despite
already having sore legs, I worked out, and now they're even more sore because, why not? I guess. Yeah, going up and down the stairs. I've never wished that we had a one-story house more than today. Stairs suck. Anyways, who's our stream sponsor?
Cody Lindblom is our stream sponsor for the night.
Cody Lindblom, thank you for sponsoring tonight's LEGO live stream. What is up, everyone? How's your week going so far? Fit Kisto, Laserbolt, Star Wars 95, some AT-AT, Lucas Trevor, Doomslayer. Everybody likes Yikes. Tara Bebe, Hobbitfoot Andy, Therrell, Matthew, Joshua Bernard. Hello, welcome. Hi, Rainman. Sorry I didn't get back to you. I just saw your DM about last night not having a stream. So, yes, I think we're going to stick with Thursdays for now. That's always going to be up for changing.
Yeah, we'll see. Because it's like, Wednesday. There's always going to be a stream Wednesday when shows are on. So it's like not bad to, I guess, keep Wednesday in everyone's minds is like, that's when we live stream. Mm-hmm. But if we would just be constantly moving the LEGO stream back and forth. So I don't know what the right move is.
Yeah, because we'll still be doing the LEGO streams during show streams, just on Thursdays. But so last night we went to a friend's house for our we used to do this all the time. We would have Wines Day dinner with some friends, and it's basically just a potluck dinner. We hadn't done that in a while, and we did it last night, and it was really nice.
That was fun. We're having a very busy week, just in general, not just work, but got to hang out with a friend Tuesday night. We got to hang out with friends last night. I'm going back to play D&D with my group for the first time this year. We had stopped before the holidays, and we're finally going to get back into it.
Someone said that AT-AT looks like it's going to be a beast. Yeah.
Right now it looks like a dead bug.
I know. I love that it's just laying on its back with feet up in the air. Well, legs. It doesn't have feet yet.
I'm building the feet. I'm working on it.
Oh, I need to finish my tiger.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see the tiger little Lego set over there.
Here, we can put him right there.
Yay! I was so close to finishing him last week, but we had already gone for a long time and we were hungry, so yes.
Well, I'll try to make all these feet quickly.
Right, because you've got places to be tonight. Let's get into some super chats here.
Real quick, I was just going to say that I'm excited to play D&D partially, and hopefully none of them are watching to ruin the surprise. But for Christmas, I got all of them, those custom Hero Forge minifigs Minifigs? That's Lego. Miniatures? Whatever you call them. The little plastic people. Like, I made them all in Hero Forge, and I'm excited to give them all their characters tonight.
Did you already give one to somebody?
I gave Ashton his because he's our DM, so I just made him in Hero Forge with like a big 20-sided die in his hand and stuff like that. And I've seen him. I haven't seen most of the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
Since December.
Real quick before I get into questions, what people want to know about your D&D character?
I am a level 5, I think. We recently leveled up, and again, it was like 2 months ago. So I think I'm a level 5 gnome barbarian. I am a noble, or at least I think that I'm a noble. I have delusions of grandeur, basically. I kind of fell into inheriting a fortress, and then we finagled that into buying a place in the city that we can't afford. I'm deeply in debt. I have multiple jobs, although I think I just quit all of them. I did that last session straight up to be an adventurer because that was more lucrative. And then our DM immediately made it less lucrative. Just
as they do.
Just to be mean to me. But yeah, he's super fun. He's definitely my favorite D&D character I've ever created. And I've only done like 4. But this is the first one I feel like, oh man, I made this character and I get it. I understand D&D now.
Yeah. I hope that I can take my character and join your party, because I made a really cool character months and months ago.
Like years ago at this point.
Yeah. We started playing online with some friends over the height of the pandemic when we couldn't go anywhere.
We started before the pandemic. We got like
That's
2
true.
sessions in and then had to switch to digital.
Yeah. But anyways, like that campaign didn't really last super long. It kind of like fizzled out towards the end, but I would love to bring Vanal back to that. We'll see. Let's see. Doomslayer 420 has this first super chat here. Thank you. Just had surgery and will be laid up for 2.5 weeks. Many thanks for keeping me company with your great content. Also, gonna knock out some canon books. Oh, well, hope that everything went okay with your surgery. Yeah. Sometimes getting surgery or having stuff like this happen, like where you're forced to take time off for recovery, it can be really helpful for some people. Kind of forces them to take a break, but hope you have a swift recovery, and let us know what books you check out, because that's nice. I need to catch up on my reading for book club, which I think is next week.
Yeah, it's next week, and you have like almost all of Midnight Horizon to read still.
Oh boy. Well, I know what I'm doing on Monday. I think the audiobook was sped up to the speed that I read it at, which is like 1.3 times speed. I think it was like under 10 hours. So if I start Monday morning and just do nothing but that all day, which that sounds delightful, honestly. Just sit on the couch all day.
Yeah.
Joel Davis, thanks for the super chat. In Star Wars issue 20, Elzar Mann tells Luke that the Jedi defeated the rule of Darth Bane 1,000 years ago. Does this mean that in canon, Bane was a Sith emperor who literally ruled the galaxy?
Maybe. I don't think it necessarily has to set anything in stone. I doubt they even know yet. They're probably just going off of George Lucas's notes about how Darth Bane was like the last Sith that the galaxy knew of, and he started the rule of 2. So it is interesting that, like in Legends, I don't think the Jedi knew about Darth Bane. Like, Darth Bane was the sole survivor of this big battle between the Jedi and the Sith, and he engineered it so that the Jedi and the Sith killed each other, and everyone would go like, "Oh, the Sith are gone, hooray!" So then he could do the rule of 2 in secret, which I think he still did. But yeah, it does seem like he was, a big deal and a known figure. So I guess we can assume, I don't know that he was an emperor, but I think it's safe to assume that maybe he was the leader of Sith forces at that time. And then they thought they killed him, but they didn't. And then he started the rule of 2. Or maybe that's how Yoda knows about the rule of 2. Maybe he was like, maybe he did a Martin Luther, like nailed a bunch of rules to the Sith church door about how we're doing it the wrong way and we should be doing this rule of 2 thing. And then everyone thought that they killed him before he could institute it or something.
Yeah, I have no idea. I am no help in this situation. So sorry. What was the time frame of Bane? That's Old Republic, right?
Yeah, 1,000 years before the prequels.
So we just got news of this new visual guide coming that's going to be all about like the timelines of Star Wars, and I think that's really going to help me out. I don't know how far back they're going to go with it, but
I have this video that you could watch.
It's like 45 minutes long.
It's like,
do a shorter one.
No, just watch it fast. Speed it up.
Then I have to hear your voice for that long, and I already hear you in here recording all the time, and just, my attention span is like zip. Ooh, here's a good question. Bill Tyler, thank you for your super chat. What is the red digital light on Boba's chest armor? It's always going off and doing something. I don't know what it means exactly.
I don't know what it means either. I think it's just supposed to be a visually interesting thing. But I honestly have no clue. It's probably been stated at some point.
It's one of those things that, like, Mandalorian armor looks really cool on its own, but they're supposed to be such an advanced group of people with so much, like, technology and stuff, so maybe they just wanted to add some kind of blinking lights on there to make it more animated.
I'll say it means nothing, and it's just supposed to be a distraction in battle. So then people are fighting them, and they're like, what's that? Oh, no, I'm dead.
It's just a little name tag.
It's a name tag, yeah. It's his chain code, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that's probably it.
It could be retconned into that.
Anyone who can read chain code, like ones and zeros, they see that and they're like, oh yeah.
It's like displaying your serial number on your chest, or your social security number on your chest. Someone
said it shows armor health status. I mean, if it's Beskar, it's got to be at 100%.
It's always 100%. Yeah. I mean, Din's armor got knocked down. It lost its integrity.
Yeah, and well, maybe Boba Fett's is always at like 98% because of the dent in his helmet.
But he refuses to get that fixed.
I'm always impressed when we see cosplayers at events, and like they have that little detail also, just like a little tiny LCD screen with blinking lights on it. It's impressive. Ooh, I want to see someone doing a tech cosplay that has this little data pad.
Yeah.
Because you could easily make that with an iPad or something.
And it's just Wikipedia. That's all I want on it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, he's just spouting off information that everyone should know.
It's Wikipedia and also Wordle. Just, he's got that bookmarked.
Yeah. And he gets it on the first try every time, and somehow.
He tells them about it did you guys see Wordle today? And they're like, we don't care about your little yellow and green squares. Super Princess Kai, thanks for the super chat here. I think Cad Bane is still alive, and the blinking light could be a signal for his droid, Toto, to get him. Well, that's what I speculate.
Certainly possible.
We brought this up in several videos.
And today's video.
Streams, and yeah, like, it would be cool if he did survive to see Toto again.
I would love to see Toto. I kind of, like, I'm split on it. I definitely think that the light probably means something. It can mean something. I kind of hope that they leave him dead. Just personally, I really like that as an end for his character, but this is Star Wars, and I am fully prepared for him to make a miraculous recovery and be back in The Mandalorian Season 3 or something.
Yeah, I kind of hope he's dead, but I am to the point now where if any character dies, there's always a chance that they'll be brought back, and I just have to be okay with that.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like, just gotta accept that. That's the universe we live in. Like you said, it's a soap opera. It's a space opera. It's comic book style mythology.
Yep. High Ground Productions, thank you for the super chat. Does John Williams DYS, does that stand for something?
Did you see? I would guess.
Did you see John Williams is doing the theme for Kenobi?
I don't believe that's confirmed yet, but things are looking, if rumors are to be believed, that's looking like a real possibility. Unless something new came out that, like, they announced it's happening. I forget where this started, but someone saw, like, John Williams was conducting an orchestra in Los Angeles, and the door to that room just straight up said Kenobi on it. So it makes sense that, kind of like John Powell and Solo: A Star Wars Story, John Williams came in, wrote the theme for Solo, for Han, and then John Powell did the rest of the music. Kind of the same way the Book of Boba Fett used a lot of Ludwig's themes, but Ludwig didn't compose the whole series. So yeah, that's looking pretty likely, and I would really dig it. Like, for Obi-Wan Kenobi to get, I want to say, his own theme. Originally, the Force theme was Obi-Wan's theme in Star Wars, but now that's come to mean so much more. So it's like, let's give him a second theme.
I can't remember, did John Williams say that the sequel trilogy was going to be his last trilogy in Star Wars?
I think he said it would be his last movie, but then he did Solo. Oh wait, no, Solo was before 2019, right?
Yeah.
So
I would love for this to be like a swan song for John Williams in Star Wars. I mean, gladly, I would welcome him back at any point,
right.
But I do understand that he's getting up there in his age, and
he's 90, which I would not have guessed. He looks good. Good on you, John.
He's killing it. He's taking his vitamins. Not sponsored by any vitamin companies. But yeah, if this were going to be the last thing he did for Star Wars, I would be happy with that.
I'd be down for him to come back on occasion, where it is this case of, yeah, you wrote music for Han Solo for, I guess, 5 movies. You know this character. Would you like to write a theme for him? Obi-Wan is the same kind of thing. Like, you know this character. You wrote the music surrounding this character. If you could just, like, develop a theme for him, we'd really appreciate it, John.
We know you're tired, and you know you've done a lot of Star Wars stuff, but I feel like he probably is attached to the character of Obi-Wan, much like most of us. But so, like, I think he would be happy to come back for something.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I think that sounds a little more digestible to a man of his talent, but also age, where it's like, we don't need you to do everything, but just like one theme would be cool. Be so cool, John.
Joel Davis, thank you for your super chat. Would you ever want to see a Star Wars book do Tolkien-like appendices expanding the past of the galaxy? I don't think they would, though.
I mean, that's kind of what reference books have done, I guess. They don't really do the appendix in the back. I mean, I think a Thrawn book could maybe benefit from that. With all the Chiss Ascendancy stuff. Mm-hmm. That could be helpful, but I don't know, like an appendix in one book, I don't think is the place to do that for Star Wars. I like the fact that Star Wars builds out its universe a little bit at a time.
Yeah. I think, not to purposely bring it up again, but the High Republic would probably do well with that too, because there's just so many characters.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what the appendices are like in Lord of the Rings.
The appendices in Lord of the Rings like offer a timeline of like the history of Middle Earth, and they even kind of go into what happens after Return of the King and stuff like that. I'd rather just see that stuff play out in a story, I guess. Like, I've read through the appendices of Return of the King, and I found them interesting, but not as compelling as The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. And it's kind of the same way. The Silmarillion is very much a history book. Mm-hmm. And I find it very difficult to read. So sometimes I really dig Tolkien's style, and sometimes I find it to be very dry. I
know plenty of people have done this since Tolkien has written The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but like the idea of one person coming up with this so much fake history about this fake idea. Like, I know he's basing a lot of it on real history, but he fleshed out so much of that world, and it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, like, he had this big motivating factor of wanting England to have mythology. And I just like saw Peter Jackson talking about this the other day, but England had mythology that was mostly wiped out by the Norman invasion, and so that was just like, that was it. We have no mythology anymore, and Tolkien didn't like that, so he was like, I'm gonna make one up, and he tried to make it as detailed as he could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they would ever do it for Star Wars, but it would be interesting. And you know that, what am I trying to say? It would work for the Thrawn books, but we already get like the little timeline reminder. I think that's really all you need for the books.
Yeah.
You have Wikipedia at your fingertips to look up just about anything. So, no worries. Ben, thanks for the super chat. Too many spin-off shows water down the characters, in my opinion. Do we think that they're watering down characters by giving them spin-off shows?
I don't really know what we're talking about.
I guess, well, Boba Fett got a show, Ahsoka got a show. We haven't seen it yet, but I don't think it waters down the characters per se, because like they're giving, they gave Boba Fett an incredibly different character arc in his show than what we already knew of him. So
yeah, I don't think they watered down Boba Fett. I mean, they made him grow and change, and he was different than the way he was, but I don't think that's watering him down.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not super clear on what they mean by the character is being watered down.
I'll keep an eye out in chat if Ben, if you're still here, maybe if you want to offer up some clarification, we can talk a little more about that. But no, I don't think they're getting watered down. If you had to pick a character who you do think has been watered down, who would you say?
No one jumps to mind. I'm trying to think of anyone else that got like a... Boba Fett is the first person to have gotten like a spin-off show. Andor, I guess, is coming up, and Kenobi is coming up, but I don't think that that's gonna water down the character. Yeah. I guess I can see what people are saying with Boba Fett, where some people viewed him as just like the violent, unstoppable badass, and he was not that in this series. But to me, they made him more compelling by not doing that. So I don't know.
Yeah, because like before we got his episode, the tragedy episode, I was like, do we need a whole show dedicated to Boba Fett? And then he came back, and Rodriguez directed that episode so well. I can't really say that about the other show, like the other episodes in Book of Boba Fett, but he made me care about Boba Fett, and like then we got the show, and now I kind of love it. Uh-oh. Hilo needs water.
Okay.
We can hear if Hilo is out of water in his water bowl because he like scratches in it.
I'll run. Refill it.
He's down there just like, Just taking a look to see if we got any clarification. A lot of Star Wars main characters are not my favorite. I mean, that makes sense. Oh yeah, Crypto does the same thing with the water bowl. Okay, I see too much of these characters popping up in the shows takes away from how special it is seeing them in the movies. Seeing too much of Luke or Ahsoka takes away from the movies. I can see that. Luke especially, because he's already been in so much, but as long as they can show a parallel to the main story of that main character that they're trying to tell, I'm okay with it. But I see what you're saying. Deidre Russell, thank you so much for your super chat. Speaking of Wordle, thank you for introducing me to Star Wordle. Do you know the hard level uses Aurabesh? Oh man.
Oh my god, no, I didn't see that.
My husband is using it to help learn Aurabesh before we go on the Halcyon. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, our buddy Eckert Slatter started that, right? Mm-hmm. Started the Star Wars Wordle. And I already don't really like doing Wordle because it just makes me feel really dumb. Although when I do get it, it makes me feel really smart. So it's hard. But then I tried the Star Wars one, and that one was
it's hard.
So much harder because you're like, I know a lot of words and I know a lot of Star Wars words, but like they just don't come to your mind as easily as any regular 5-letter word.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to think up like a 5-letter Star Wars word. And then when I think of one, the only other ones I can think of have those same letters, and I'm like, this is not helpful.
Yeah.
I just guessed Biggs every day until it popped up. And it finally happened, and I was like, all right, I got it in one.
I want to ask him, does he get to pick what word it is the day of? Or?
I think it's random.
Yeah, that would make sense.
He did tell me, to be fair, he was like, Biggs is in the first 100 set of words. So I knew that at most I'd be doing that for like 4 months. Maybe he felt pity on me and was like, I'll make it day 5 or something.
Yeah.
But I think it's random.
That would make sense. That is cool that your husband is trying to learn Aurabesh before going on the Halcyon, because I'm sure that there will be a lot of that stuff written around.
I think that's a good way of doing it too.
Mm-hmm. Man, that would blow my mind if I had to play Wordle with Star Wars words and in another made-up language. J Bell, thank you for your super chat. You go back in time and give Lucas one piece of advice as he sits down to write the prequels. What do you tell him?
I don't think the internet was that big back then, but I think I'd just be like, stay off the internet. I wouldn't change anything he did.
Hi, buddy. Oh, you're knocking stuff over with your tail.
I wouldn't change anything about what he did with the story. Maybe... It's like I have things that I know he was frustrated with that I feel like I could warn him about that stuff, but I don't want the movies to change because I feel like that would just butterfly effect out into changing the world.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Oh, hi, buddy. Hi. Ooh, just jealous of not getting enough screen time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think I would... I don't want to be the person who is like, oh yeah, if I could give George Lucas a piece of my mind or some advice, here's what I would say. I wouldn't really have any advice for him.
Like, I know that he kind of got frustrated with having so many story ideas, and he was like, I can't fit everything I want into Revenge of the Sith. So, like, maybe I would just warn him about that. But even that I wouldn't want to do, really.
I would, instead of advice, I would just tell him, hey man, you're doing great. In a few years, everyone will go back to praising you and saying that you have never done anything bad in your life. And
yeah, maybe show him like pictures of people loving the prequels. But like, he's a smart guy. I'm sure he knew. Even in interviews, he was like, look, I didn't make these movies for the adults that grew up with them. I made them for the kids now. And so he knew. So he probably didn't need to hear anything from me.
Yeah. It would be cool to be a fly on the wall to like just see his writing process. Although I guess a lot of it is in that archives book, but you haven't really gotten into the prequel.
Not the prequel one yet.
Sith Rodriguez, thank you for your super chat. Alex/Molly, did you guys react to the new game, The Old Republic Disorder cinematic trailer? And if so, what did you guys think? We didn't film a reaction to it, but we did see it.
Yeah.
And you just talked about it. Well, no, you talked about Empire Strikes Back. But
I talked. We talked about it.
Okay.
Black Series Rebels. I was on their podcast last night, and it's live today. But half of them, one third of them, Alex, he was one of the co-writers of the short, and I thought it was awesome. I've told him this, that I'm like, the Old Republic is kind of a blind spot for me. Like, I know the basic beats of the story, but I've never played the game itself. But I always have loved those cinematics, and I've missed seeing them. So to have one come back was like really, really exciting, and to have it be cool and feel like the ones that came out back in the day, like, I don't know, just took me back to that time. It was super fun.
There was one part of the trailer that made me think of Tomb Raider, like that big thing with all the spinning circle things that where she was like going to get the holocron. There was like something kind of like that at the end of the Tomb Raider movie.
I kind of remember that.
The original, the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those cinematic trailers always get me really excited, and I was already like, okay, yes, I want to see the rest of this story for this Twi'lek Padawan, because they set everything up really well, where it's like, you have a Padawan, you have a master, you have a bad guy, you have the Padawan being shown something to challenge their ideas and the balance of the Force, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't play the games. You don't really either.
I've never played the Old Republic, no.
Yeah, but a lot of people do, and I saw nothing but good responses to the trailer.
Yeah, it was really great seeing that, especially like just being happy for my friend. But that's I was really excited to talk about the trailer earlier, and that's why I popped off a little bit when it just got it was like, yay, let's talk about this, and then they just like took a hard left turn.
But yeah, we do have our buddy Alex Bax, who is part of Black Series Rebels, and he was one of 2 writers, I think, for that cinematic trailer. So really cool to know somebody that was responsible for that. And
it was fun. It was a fun day.
I'm excited for him.
It was fun seeing. Yeah, it was really fun seeing the response for him.
Coleslaw, thank you for your super chat. Always makes me want coleslaw. If I read the word, I want it. Could Cad Bane appear in Andor, even working for the Rebellion with Saw Gerrera, ? I think he would be interesting as a problematic ally. It'd be a way for him to actually not have worked for the Empire.
You know, at first I was thinking like he wouldn't work for the Rebellion, but I like that proposal. I like that idea that he would be a problematic ally with Saw Gerrera. That's kind of fun. I don't think he's going to appear in Andor. He obviously can. He's alive. I also don't think that Cad Bane never worked for the Empire. I certainly don't think he looked down on the Empire. We've talked about this the past couple weeks, but him telling Cobb Vanth, like, oh, Boba Fett's a cold-blooded killer who worked with the Empire, is not him saying, like, I would never work with the Empire. He's saying that Boba Fett is just as bad as I am. We're both terrible people. You shouldn't ally yourself with Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. That's what that line is, so I certainly don't think that... I think we could very much see Cad Bane working with the Empire in future stories. Dude worked with the Sith.
Yeah.
That's worse than the Empire.
I
mean, it's the same as the Empire, really.
He's in it for the paycheck. And
yeah.
I think he likes what he does. I don't see him working for the Rebellion, no.
But with Saw Gerrera, I'm like, maybe. If they had the credits for it, like you said, he goes where the paycheck is. If the rebels, if Saw Gerrera hired him to assassinate someone... Even as Saw Gerrera got more and more intense, I don't think he would want to work with Cad Bane. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Saw's like the ends justify the means kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that idea. I don't think we're going to see it happen, but if you're trying to find a reason for Cad Bane to be in the show, that's an interesting story reason for it to happen. And I respect that, whereas a lot of people are just like, could Cad Bane be in it just because they want to see him in it? But I like that you said, here's how Cad Bane could be in it. And I'm like, all right, I can see that.
It's possible. I don't necessarily like the idea, but Star Wars continues to prove me wrong in many ways, so... Anything could happen. TJ Meeks Thanks for your super chat. What are you expecting from the High Republic jumping back to the past? Do you think there will be a certain title that acts as a transition? I think they're going to jump right into the past, but it will be interesting to see how they kick it off.
Yeah, they could. I think it'll all be set up in like the opening crawl of the first book and first comic and all that. The end of Midnight Horizon especially, and I think probably the end of the comics are going to be that transition. Midnight Horizon has a really good ending where I'm like, oh, like let's do this. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit like, oh man, we're going to the past. Like, I trust the storytellers, the authors and everything, but like I'm really invested in these characters and what's happening right now, and I'm gonna miss all this. And then at the end of Midnight Horizon, I was like, I'm in. Take me to the past.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm excited. As soon as they announced it, I was like really excited to see them just take another time jump even further back. And I mean, they'll probably continue to do that. Maybe not in this like story run of like phases 1, 2, and 3, but that just tells me that they're not afraid to jump back in time and delve into the previous stuff that happened. But do we know do you think there is a certain title that acts as a transition?
No, that, like you said, I think they're just gonna go straight into the past.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about the High Republic that for me is so cool is just like all the Jedi related stuff is just really juicy. We're getting a lot of cool Jedi stuff that we're not going to get going forward in time. We're probably not going to get a lot of that post episode 9, but by going back in time, we're seeing how the Jedi of the past like connected to the Force and how it was like different. They each saw the Force as like a different thing, and when they talk about that in the books and stuff, it's really cool.
It's going to be really interesting to see just how the Jedi are different again. Like, we've already jumped backwards from the Phantom Menace, and there's been a lot of talk and discussion because, I mean, that's the point of, you know, how are the High Republic Jedi different from the Jedi of the prequel era? And now we're going to jump even further back, and I kind of expect we're going to see that they're even more different. It's still part of like the golden age of the Jedi and the Republic, so how are both of those groups going to continue to be better, be in that golden age? Like, I'm really interested to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rainer Bless, thanks for the super chat here. We kind of touched on this earlier. Could Cad Bane's blinking light be a beacon/signal? It could. It could be like we talked about it being a life alert. Like, it's
Help,
signaling.
I've been shot and I can't get up.
It's signaling Toto and to come in with his ship and to save him. It could also have something to do with like the oxygen tubes going into his body. Like, could be related to that. I don't know.
I really am curious, like, if Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are like, what is everyone talking about? Like, if they meant for... They definitely made that blinking red light a thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like...
We didn't notice it the first time we watched the
didn't.
episode because I think we were just like really wrapped up in the story. But when we watched it with the descriptive audio turned on, the lady that does that just specifically pointed it out, and they do hover on it for a minute and they make sure you hear the blinking. So it's, I don't know, I still think it's just a maybe we could bring him back at some point, and here's how.
Right.
A blinking light that means nothing right now, but if we want to make it mean something, we can.
I just think it would be funny if Filoni and Favreau were like, we didn't mean for, like, maybe they thought that it was very clearly something else and no one is picking up on it, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah. J Bell with another super chat here. Thank you. What interviewee has had the best answer to who is your favorite C/D list character?
Oh.
Also, what is Molly's choice for this?
Go with yours first.
Mine's kind of a cop-out, I feel like, but I'm going with Dark Rey.
I still hold that counts.
That counts?
I've told you that counts. That I think it counts.
Her screen time is very minimal, and it is kind of like a what could have been situation, but she still showed up, and so I'm sticking with that. I think Dark Rey is really cool, and I love that I had the idea before they did.
And that's part of the reason that I think that it counts, especially for you. Like, you have an emotional, like, they did the thing, like the thing that I wanted to do, and did. So
I did a Dark Rey cosplay in 2017, and I've done it a couple of times since then. But when the dark side version of Rey popped up in the trailer, I cannot tell you how many like text messages and DMs I got and tweets with people being like, "Oh my gosh, the thing! They're doing the thing, maybe." And I was in Kroger when that happened, when that thing dropped. It's all like one of us has always got to be out doing something mundane when news drops. But I was in Kroger and I just had to pull over with my cart. And I almost cried. I was just like, what? Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Dark Rey is mine.
I'm trying to, run through the answers that I've heard. Let's see. The best answer I've ever been given is from one of the people from the Mission to Zix comm chatter that we did. Jeremy Bent, he said that Biggs was his answer, and I was like, are you messing with me right now?
Are you messing with me?
Because, we didn't really know each other. And he was like, no, I like Biggs. And I was like, all right. And then we bonded over that. I've heard a lot of Wedges over the years. I remember Justina Ireland said that the Porg in The Last Jedi that screams. I'm like, that's such an off-the-wall answer. I like that.
Is that the one that has a name, sort of?
I think so.
Turbis?
I think so.
Or whatever?
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson just said a name in an interview once.
No, it was Tatooine Sons. They, named him and then suggested it to Ryan Johnson, and he was like, sure.
Sure.
Which is cool. But I'm trying to remember. I really do love Cavan Scott's story about Jackson. So he loves Jackson, and Jackson was part of his introduction to Star Wars. He read the comics before he saw A New Hope, before he saw any other Star Wars thing. He read the comics and loved Jackson. And then as a child, he went to see The Empire Strikes Back when it opened, and he was like, where's Jackson? That to him, Jackson meant Star Wars, and the fact that his favorite Green Rabbit was not in The Empire Strikes Back was just the worst. And that's such a fun story. So maybe that one's my favorite. I'm trying. I remember asking Brian Posehn, who was in the star of The Mandalorian, for half a second until he was eaten. He said Aunt Beru. He also said the pilots. He's like, a lot of people love the pilots. Yeah. Of course. But he said Aunt Beru, and I liked that.
It's been a while since we've talked with him, but I don't know if you are really part of Star Wars Twitter if you don't know who Veers Watch is.
Yeah, of course.
And the fact that this man has dedicated his online presence to the love of General Veers.
I
love it so much, and he has a cool story that his he got integrated into Veers's story and from a certain point of view from The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, we did too, a little bit. But he was the star of that show that day.
Yeah.
And well-deserved. Because every new piece of content that comes out, he makes it a point to go online and tweet, like, name of content, no Veers.
Yeah. I mean, I love that he does what we do. He reads and watches everything just to see if Veers is in it.
And
I love that.
Oh man, I forget when it came out, but there was a Lego short that got released one day,
the Christmas one
in December, that had Veers in it. And I have never gone to Twitter so fast to tag him in the post.
It's funny, like, anytime that happens, I want to tell him, but I also want him to experience the excitement for himself. So I'm like, I don't know what to do in this situation. So I just usually pull up his Twitter and sit there and refresh it until he makes an update. But, like, I remember... Huh?
Are you done with the feed?
Yeah, the feed are done.
Oh.
I remember, like, we got our advanced copy of, from a certain point of view, Empire Strikes Back, so I knew what was going to happen. I recognized his name in that, and so I was, like, trying to find a way. I was like, you know what would be fun is if you recorded yourself, like, reading the story or something. That'd probably be cool. I was trying to subtly suggest that we get his reaction to becoming canon. Can't remember. I don't think he did that, but
yeah.
He's just the best.
Well, he doesn't do a lot of on-camera stuff, but...
I mean, he did an interview with us, too. So.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's just the nicest person.
He is.
I love him.
Well, if you're done, I'm going to finish my tiger. So we're going to swap seats.
I want to point out that this is the only extra piece, and it's meant to be extra. I did it. Clap. Please clap. Thank you. Was that so hard? Finish your tiger.
I'm going to finish my Lego tiger. Alex is going to take on the rest of these super chats here. Oh my god, my legs are so sore.
Ben Potter, thank you for the next one. And J Bell, that was a great question. Thank you for that. But Ben Potter, what was your favorite new droid design in the Book of Boba Fett? The conductor droid? The ant droid? The droid that dressed Boba? Something else?
I did like the conductor droid. It had a lot of sass for what it was. I can't say the cook droid because that was not a new design, but that one was also one of my favorites.
I think conductor droid was my favorite one, just because I was like, what is this thing? And then his, like, maniacal, just messing up the controls and jumping out of the train, I thought was hilarious. So I really liked that. What else? I liked the ant droids too. But I think conductor droid had the most personality. Like, for some reason, every time I picture it, it has a big, like, twirly mustache, like a Western cartoon villain. Yeah. And it doesn't even remotely have a mustache in the...
It just goes with the whole train theme.
Yeah, but I feel like it has that personality, and that's just how they were able to communicate that, and I like it.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out where I left off here. Okay.
Chase Hauser, thank you for the super chat. Says, hi, have either of you read any Star Wars manga adaptations? I'm reading Guardians of the Whills right now and loving it so much. Much love to you both.
Oh, hi, Chase. I started the... Oh, man. I hate this set.
Did you already drop something?
No, the feed just won't stay on. I started the manga that was supposed to be like Lost Stars, and it was a part 1, and they came out with a part 2. I never read the part 2, and I don't think I finished the part 1, but I should check it out because I was like heavily into manga in middle school. I was a huge Sailor Moon nerd, so Yeah, and then you read The Edge of Balance, right? That was the first one.
Yeah, that's not an adaptation. But yeah, I've got Volume 1 here. Volume 2 comes out next Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Or this coming Tuesday.
I need to check those out, because...
Yeah, it was good.
I love that style, just the manga look and everything, and having that in Star Wars is just a treat that we take advantage of.
But no, I haven't read any of the other adaptations. I probably unfairly ignore adaptations, whether they're just rewritten for a younger audience or changed into manga, just because I'm like, I already know the story. But to be fair, Joseph Scrimshaw at Force Center, I remember, was talking about how he got the little golden book for The Mandalorian Season 1. Mm-hmm. And he was like, wow, they really just communicate these themes to a child. Where it's like the very first page says, the Mandalorian was alone.
Aww.
Then he found the child. And like, that's...
Oh yeah, if you want
that's it.
If you want to really break down an adult... I don't want to say an adult, but like a live action show made for all ages... check out the little golden book version, and it is going to break everything down to the most simple thing imaginable, and it'll be quite heartwarming, I think.
Yeah, that is kind of the thing where I'm like, if I'm ever struggling to understand a story, I should probably just look at the young reader adaptation and see exactly what they're going for. Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of times, even if you do understand the themes and the message of a story, you can catch stuff that you may not have otherwise thought about if you read the other versions of it. Mm-hmm. Which is always fun. How's this? Okay.
Chris Fields, thank you for the next very generous super chat. Thank you, Chris. I wish we got a Book of Boba Fett scene where Boba won his freedom from the Sand People and went back to the palace to get rejected and cast out by Bib, and then he would choose to go back to the Sand People. Would have provided more context. I definitely know what you're talking about, because I still don't have a good explanation for that one line where he's like, then I'm going to kill that gutless pig who double-crossed me, or whatever he says about Bib Fortuna. And I'm like, how did he double-cross you? I do not understand what that line is about exactly. Maybe there was a deleted scene where, like, Bib Fortuna gets out of the sand and sees, like, Boba Fett's in the Sarlacc, and Boba Fett's like, help!
That's like, what I used as my headcanon. I was like, I'm just gonna assume that Boba and Bib always had beef, and, like, Bib knew that he ended up in the Sarlacc pit and didn't do anything about it, and just like left him there for dead. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my reasoning behind all that. But yeah, he doesn't really go into that much.
It seems weird, and I'm happy to just be like, yeah, the beef happened off screen, fine, whatever. But to like call attention to some betrayal, I'm like,
I mean, technically, whatever beef happened between Boba Fett and Cad Bane also happened off screen.
Yes, exactly. But because I know it, that doesn't bug me. But you're right.
But they did a good job at conveying that.
Yeah. But, I agree that...
Oh, a little tail.
Something between Boba Fett and Bib Fortuna would have been cool. Like, even we get that scene where he is like, I don't want to go ask Bib for my shit back because I'm afraid I won't like the answer. Like, you could have had a scene where he went to Jabba's palace and was, hi Bib, I want my shit back, and he said no.
I thought you were saying shit back. I was like, will you stop cussing?
I was not.
I realize that now. Go on.
Bib, you got my ship, and I want my ship back. I gotta take my ship. Gio Flores, thank you for the next super chat. Love you guys. I was wondering if Alex would be able to put the War of the Bounty Hunters and Crimson Reign in a better order. I understand it for the most part, but it's all a bit jumbled. Well, I've got the War of the Bounty Hunters timeline video. I did that. So that video, you can find it, I think, on our homepage of our channel. That'll walk you through all of the War of the Bounty Hunters. Crimson Reign, I will do at the end of Crimson Reign. And maybe I'll combine both. And then maybe after the Secret Empire? Hidden Empire. Whatever the third part of this trilogy is going to be. Maybe I'll do it again. But yeah, I'm going to definitely wait until Crimson Reign is done before I super cover it. But it is being told in an interesting way. In a way that I like. That it's almost an anthology series showing that like Kira has this plan, and so she's sending 5 groups out to take care of it. So each issue is following a different group, and I assume they're all happening somewhat simultaneously. So I like that. Mm-hmm. The Crimson Reign stuff has been... I don't know that I would call it a crossover event the way War of the Bounty Hunters was, but I'm enjoying Crimson Reign in the way that the other comics are tying into it a little more. War of the Bounty Hunters felt like it derailed every series, shook them all up, and left them in interesting places. And now the individual series seem like they're able to just do their own thing again with all of the consequences of War of the Bounty Hunters. And that's cool. Ryman 6000, thank you for the super chat. Will you guys be getting any of the new Lego Book of Boba sets? That 6th episode was amazing. Much love. Thanks, Ryman. And I have already pre-ordered the N1 because I've got to get...
You got to get your BD droid.
Now I'm going to have 2. Actually, I'll have 4 because I have 2 Black Series ones, but I'll have 2 Lego ones. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, this Lego one is a custom set.
It's a Lego one.
Yeah.
3D printed Lego bricks.
Yeah.
But yes, I pre-ordered the N1 and I pre-ordered the Jabba's Palace set, which isn't that big. I'm more looking forward to the N1. But yes, I will be getting... We're already pre-ordering both of those.
I like that I called the Jabba's Palace one.
You certainly did.
Because in the whatever last stream it was it the last one or was it 2 streams ago?
Who can tell?
Whichever stream it was before they announced it, I think Jane Dalton, one of our patrons and good friends, she asked what we thought, what our predictions were if they were going to do another big location set, and that's what I said. So.
To be fair, you were half right again. We're getting half right on a lot of theories because it's not a UCS set the way the Cantina is, but it looks exactly like the Cantina, so it might as well be.
Yeah. I did also say Jabba's Palace and not Boba Fett's Palace.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking that it would be more fun if they did Jabba's Palace, which would include a lot more characters because it was a lot more full those days.
Yes, I agree.
But what if we got the cook droid in Lego form?
That would be fun.
Oh, I gotta talk to Scout. I need him to design me a cook droid Lego.
They could probably make you a pretty cool brickhead.
That might be my new C/D list character that I love to talk about.
I mean, that's another one that you have. The best C/D list characters, and it all comes down to the reasoning, I think. The best answers I've gotten are down to people who have a good story.
Mine is that I looked up the actual name of the cook droid from Attack of the Clones while studying for Star Wars trivia. So I immediately recognized the type of droid that it was when I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They did it. They put this weird droid in another thing. It's
like, because you have a good story for the cook droid and for Dark Ray, and Biggs, I have a story for him. I don't really have a story for Max Rebo other than I played piano growing up.
That's enough of a story.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, that's it. That's the story. Cobb Vanth. I have a detailed reason for loving that character, but I love hearing people's reasons for this is why I fell in love with this weird character.
But you also don't necessarily need a reason.
No, yeah.
That's,
and I mean,
that's
very
the beauty
often
of Star Wars.
Very often, people will tell me an answer just because they like that thing, and I'm like, that's great. But my favorite answers are like Cavan Scott, where he's like, I thought Jackson was the star of Star Wars. And he was not.
Yeah, at the time.
That's such a fun story.
I'm almost done.
You're crushing it. Look at us go. John Thrower, thank you for the super chat. Did you guys notice that when Din was fighting the droid in the Book of Boba Fett finale and was then thrown to the ground, he drops the Darksaber and pretty much ignores it and leaves it to go check on Grogu?
I'm not surprised at all.
I did not notice that specifically, but I 100% believe you.
I mean,
that sounds like a deliberate thing they would do.
Shortly after fighting or dueling Paz Vizsla, shortly after dueling Paz Vizsla to what could have been his death, he checks it as baggage on a commercial Starcruiser on his way to Tatooine. So Din does not care that much yet about the Darksaber and what it represents.
Yeah, I love that you pointed that out, because that's the whole trope of, oh, the badass has to take all of his weapons off and put it in a box or whatever, before he can enter the castle or do whatever. But then it pauses on that moment where he's like, does the Darksaber belong in this box too? Yeah, I guess. And he puts it in there. He does take a moment to think about it. And everyone went like, oh no, that's going to wind up lost or something. Because everyone else, we all know its importance, and he's just not there yet. So yeah, 100%, Grogu is more important to him than the Darksaber. He's going to leave it in the sand, and he's going to go check on his son. Which honestly, good for him. I don't want to see that change.
Yeah.
I don't really want the arc of this new emotional journey he's on to be I have to accept my new destiny and leave Grogu behind. You did it too. No extra pieces?
I mean...
those are all correct.
Oh, okay.
Those are all supposed to be there.
The little one by one pieces.
You did great.
Well, I made a little tiger. The only reason I built this is because we got it as a free...
It came with this?
Free little set with this thing. So it's
the Year of the Tiger, and it was here's the tiger set.
Here it is.
Don't we have a cow or something? Was last year of the Cow? Is that why we got that?
I don't know about that, but we do have a cow.
We have a cow set
somewhere. He's so cute with his little tail. You can move his tail. Anyways.
Super Princess Kai, thank you for the super chat. The part I found funny in Book of Boba Fett is when Boba was chasing the bunny droid all over the kitchen, and then Boba grabs it. It was so scared that it shut itself down. Yep. I love that part.
I do too. And the thing that I love most about that part isn't necessarily him chasing it and then the droid shutting itself down, because I do love that stuff. It's funny. But it was Boba Fett just yelling at it, I am Boba Fett. Which is we get it, man.
Well, he's not in his armor. He has to make sure people know.
Yeah. Which, as his character arc progresses, hopefully, he'll be able to feel confident enough outside of the armor to not have to worry about that.
Agreed. I also really like Finnick in that scene, where it's just, Finnick is very much, we're going to sneak in and we'll get around their patrols and we'll do this quiet. And right from the start, when she's slicing through bars in the sewer and gets in, he just seems like he's out of his depth, where he's like, I don't know how to sneak.
Yeah,
I'm loaded up with weapons normally. I've never had to sneak.
He's used to busting in on the scene and being like, check me out.
I'm Boba Fett.
I'm literally a walking weapon.
I've got bullets in my knees.
And he's, being able to wear something like Beskar, it's armor in a lot of different senses.
I mean, as we've seen with Din, if you're wearing Beskar, it's like, I might as well just walk into a rain of bullets.
Yeah.
Because everyone aims for the metal, apparently.
Din's like, oh, you need help with something? Let me just, walk out into a firefight, and that'll be my way of helping.
Let me throw something out there. What if I just get shot a bunch? Would that help anything?
He's like the professional distraction man.
Just shiny dude, oh, don't shoot me. And everyone shoots him.
I wonder if people are ever going to learn, if they see a Mandalorian, they're probably wearing Beskar, maybe aim slightly, try and aim for one of the parts that doesn't have Beskar. It's hard.
We'll see one day. The only person to hurt Din while he's been wearing Beskar is Din with the Darksaber.
That's true.
No one else has been able to do it.
Well, I like that. So I know Cad Bane knows about Beskar. And so when they have that him and Boba Fett, when they have that little standoff moment, Cad Bane is such a good shot. He could have aimed elsewhere on his body and actually harmed him. But he just wanted to prove that he was a quicker shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was super toying with him. Just being like, shot you once, and then Boba Fett tries to burn him, and he's like, shot you again. Yeah, Cad Bane knows what he's doing. He wanted to get in close, and he, digs his blaster under the armor, rips his helmet off. I mean, he dies because he gloats, like every classic villain. Mm-hmm. But I love it. I loved it. I really liked that duel.
Check your ego at the door,
Mr. Bane.
Future villains, because it will always be your downfall.
Matthew Lang, thank you for the next super chat. Challenge for Alex to prove his dedication. Learn Mandarin just to read that High Republic book released in China, The Vow of Silver Dawn.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wish. I know that there have been translations coming out, and I will probably read them, but also it seems like a really long book, and I think they're releasing it in increments. But yeah, China has a High Republic exclusive story. Although
that's wild and really cool.
I believe it's also closer to the time of Dooku Jedi Lost. It's not part of the High Republic main publishing initiative. It's kind of like the Acolyte, where it takes place in the High Republic era, but it doesn't tie into all of this.
Yeah.
But I still I want to know.
Yeah. You're the gif of Conan O'Brien, what is he, standing outside of a window or something?
Oh, yeah, in, peering in.
What's going on?
Yeah. I'll probably wait until it's done, unless that's going to be years from now. Because I'll probably try to cover it. I'm curious.
If there's an audiobook version of it, which I don't know if there is or not, I would assume it would get translated to other languages.
I think if it were a Mandarin audiobook, that might be the best way for me to learn Mandarin. At least understand it.
Mm-hmm. It's a good challenge.
Matthew Lang, thank you. Oh, that was that one. Robert Schwartz, thank you for the next one. Late to the stream, thoughts on the Halcyon being an integral part of Han and Leia's marriage. Well, it's not an integral part of their marriage.
It might be. We haven't read the story yet.
Was Hawaii an integral part of our marriage?
I mean, I would love to go back.
Yeah, but we got married before we went to Hawaii.
Sure.
The Endor seems like it might be an integral part of their marriage, but yeah, their honeymoon on the Halcyon is kind of just very blatant corporate synergy stuff.
So I remember the moment that I read this, I kind of rolled my eyes, and I immediately got up and came in here to tell Alex so he could also roll his eyes. But we were both kind of this checks out for Star Wars. It's not anything they haven't done before. Classic Star Wars synergy. And which this is one of my favorite
It's great.
canon books of all time. I love Delilah Dawson's writing. This and Phasma. Please read them if you haven't.
This is a very good book, and it's very clearly set up by, like, hey, Delilah Dawson, you made this Vi Marathi character in your book Phasma, and we're going to put her into the park, and now we want you to write a book about her in our park. And it's like, yep, that's super corporate synergy. I do not like it when business decisions drive artistic decisions, but this is like Black Spire is proof that it can work.
Yeah, and
I trust Beth Revis.
Yeah, we talked about Beth Revis and her work previously on Rebel
Rising.
Rebel Rising.
Where's that one?
And how good that book was. That one might be in my office, actually.
Molly's stealing my books.
I trust that they will find a way to tell the story in a fun way. And, you know, I don't want to judge it too harshly before reading her story. I just don't like that this might be a little awkward for the writer to be like, okay, well, you can write the story of Han and Leia's marriage, but they have to go to this place for their honeymoon. So that kind of like puts them in a situation like, well, would Han and Leia go there for their honeymoon? But then it's like, okay, well, then she can find a creative way to tell people why that's where they end up.
Yeah, like, I'm sure that this won't be an indicator of the quality of the story, because, like you said, Rebel Rising is also very well written. I was shocked by how much I liked that one. I remember walking out of Rogue One and being like, that was such a kick-ass third act. I loved the Battle of Scarif. But I didn't feel super connected to the characters. And then every book or comic about them that came out after the fact, like Rebel Rising or Guardians of the Whills, I was like, okay, I feel like I understand them more. And Rebel Rising, telling the story of Jyn and Saw Gerrera, was very good. So I'm glad to have Beth Revis back. I think she's going to do a great job. But yeah, I'm just rolling my eyes at the idea of Disney being like, but you have to do this. But I'm also sure that anyone that works in franchise storytelling deals with this all the time. Mm-hmm. I bet most of those books back there, except for maybe the Thrawn books. I feel like Timothy Zahn gets kind of free reign because of his
legacy,
his background. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I bet you most of those stories have some caveat.
I'll be interested to see how if he continues to write Thrawn novels after Thrawn shows up in live action, because then it's like, well, there's what the storytellers working on the show want to tell for Thrawn, and then there's what
Zahn.
Yeah, I was like,
I almost said Thrawn.
No. Yeah. Then there's what Timothy Zahn thinks is the correct way to go with his story. So I'll be interested to see if he does any more books after he shows up in live action.
I bet he will. Once Thrawn... I think Thrawn's going to die in live action. I think they're going to adapt the original Thrawn trilogy a bit, very loosely. I think Thrawn will be dead by the end. And then we'll have Timothy Zahn come along to tell us why he wasn't actually like fully a villain, and here were his true motivations. And
sure,
that just seems to be the MO.
Mm-hmm.
Paranomaniac, thank you for the super chat. Have you ever wondered if Luke was out of character in the Book of Boba Fett because it's actually Luke? And that made me laugh.
Oh, that's
clone Luke, and they did just introduce Mount Tantus.
Ooh, that is...
Speaking of the Thrawn trilogy.
That's clone Luke, and that's why he looked a little bit off.
And sounded a little bit off.
He didn't quite have the mannerisms and the emotion behind his voice that Luke had, because it's Luke.
I think you cracked it. That's actually kind of a fun fan theory.
Yeah.
That I do not think is true, but that is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the fact that they just introduced Mount Tantus back in, and they even showed Luke's hand in the Darth Vader comics.
I mean, they introduced it kind of to the casual viewer. They're like, what, who, where? Because
everyone here is not casual.
I realize
we
that.
know what's up.
In the show, even though, like at the end of Bad Batch, they just show it.
Mm-hmm.
They've never, well, have they said officially in anything since then that that's what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Not in story content, but like in the episode guides and stuff like that.
But yeah, the story, someone just watching that show wouldn't necessarily know that that's what that is.
Correct.
Anyways. Clones,
but still.
Yay.
Fun fan theory. DJ, thank you so much for the super chat. If you guys had a kid, would you name them after a Star Wars character, and who? Love the channel, love the hair. Thank you. They meant me, right?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I mean, I've thrown some Star Wars characters out before.
Character names?
Character names, yeah.
Luke and Leia?
Yeah, and you said no.
No.
Chewbacca?
No.
Thrawn?
No.
Mythronorid Rodo? Hunta?
No.
Omega?
Mm-mm.
Cad?
No.
Cobb?
Mm-mm.
Cobb Vanth Damon?
No.
Max?
I kind of like Cal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that short for Calvin?
Could be. Cal.
I like Cal. How about BD1? BD1.
Tell you what.
That's the legal name.
We're not that big of a celebrities to where we can start naming our offspring
a series
letters
of letters
and
and
numbers.
numbers.
We're not. Yeah, I won't get into that. But tell you what, let's get another dog, and we'll name them BD1.
Okay.
Done.
Just BD. BD. I try to in my head be like when I have to yell at them, like, hey, BD. Yeah, I like that. Deal. Richard Weisenthal, thanks for the super chat. Do you guys plan on doing the Galactic Starcruiser / what are your thoughts on what we've seen from the marketing so far?
I would love to.
Yeah, obviously.
When does it actually open?
March? Next month, I think.
Okay. Well, so first of all, we would have to plan a time to go that we weren't going to be too busy for already, and we would have to save money for it because it is not cheap.
Yeah, there's no immediate plans for it. Maybe. I mean, like, definitely I would love to cover it. But I don't know. We're not huge theme park people. Like, it's not... When Galaxy's Edge was announced, I was like, neat. And when we went, I was like, very neat. Like, it's super fun.
But we don't live anywhere close to one. I mean, we can drive to Orlando. It's like a 7 or 8 hour drive to go to Disney World, and then Disneyland is like all the way across the country. So it's just, if we lived closer to one, yeah, we'd probably go more often. But I will say we'll probably go and stay there at some point, but
I hope so.
No idea when.
Hopefully they have the what's the Jurassic Park lawyer? We'll have a coupon day.
Yeah.
We're waiting on coupon day.
Day.
We'll see. But
we're waiting to win the lottery first.
I mean, and thoughts on the marketing. I know that, like, we didn't cover any of this stuff because, like I said, we're not theme park people. I just don't really care that much. But there was, like, that weird marketing video, and it did seem just kind of odd. But in my mind, I'm like, they're not marketing to Star Wars fans. They're not marketing to us. They're marketing to theme park people.
Yes, exactly. If you've seen any kind of other marketing videos for theme park related stuff, it's just as cringy. So absolutely think of it in the way that, like, this is just marketing for the park itself.
I also don't remember if that was supposed to be officially released.
I mean, they shot it and edited it.
Oh,
so
yeah, but I mean, I don't know if they meant for it to
somebody-
be public or if it was for investors or...
Oh, yeah.
I felt like that was a leak. Regardless, I mean,
I think it was for investors.
It was cringy, and I was just like, okay. But also, it's just not... They're not trying to get diehard Star Wars fans. They're trying to get rich people who love theme parks to go. Like, that's what that was for.
People who have, like, I forget what it's called, the wristband season pass or whatever
Sure.
to Disney. They're trying to get those people to go.
The Buzz Lightyear pass?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was just like Lightspeed or... I don't know.
The diehards that are
The
there.
Mickey Max Pass.
The Mickey Max Pass.
I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
I'll be excited to go, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we'll have a great time whenever we get to go.
Yeah. And then we'll come home and we'll go through our depressive slump that we go through every time we go on a trip anywhere.
Oh, we're back on
and
Earth
we'll be
now.
like,
It'll be compounded because now we're back in... We took a vacation to another galaxy.
It'll be even worse because we'll be like, not only are we not in Star Wars anymore, we're also not in Disney parks Star Wars. We're just in our regular house and our regular clothes, and I hate it. I do like how they're just incorporating, like, yeah, you can buy outfits and, oh yeah, the clothes that you can buy to like wear while you're there, you can only buy them if you have a reservation.
Yeah,
that is
that's
such
annoying.
a boss move.
Boss, it's annoying.
It's a boss move for
No, I
Disney to
hate
be
that.
like dangling it in your face and be like, oh, you want this little outfit? You got to make a reservation
Is
first.
it boss or is it cruel?
Somewhere in between. I think it's boss level, but that's just me. I respect the hustle.
They don't need to hustle.
I know
They're
they don't
freaking
need to.
Disney.
They know that cosplayers would just buy all of what they had available, so they were
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let's make this only available.
There
to
should
people.
probably be some sort of qualifier, but like you've got to have a $5,000 reservation. Like sell them in the parks at least.
Oh yeah,
That's a
I think they
little-
will.
Bill Tyler, thank you for the next super chat. It just says Mon, M-O-N. I don't know what that
Mon.
means, but Mon to you. Gnarly Entities, thank you for the next super chat. I've been loving your takes on Boba's arc through the Book of Boba Fett. For what the show was, I enjoyed it. I only wished for more depth to Boba and Finnick. Agreed, especially for Finnick. Boba, I feel satisfied with. I could have done with a couple more scenes. I don't know that I could have written a whole other episode. I mean, I can't write an episode of anything, so I'm like, I want to put that out there. I'm no writer.
Uh-huh.
There were a couple of scenes that I wish we got throughout the rest of the series, but overall, I was like, Boba Fett's arc was good. I like what they did.
Yeah.
Finnick could have used a lot more. They just, like, Ming-Na Wen can do so much. Let her do more.
Yeah, I do. I hope that if we get a second season, we get a better character arc for Finnick. But I also like that she was just this kick-ass accomplice, you know, like she was the or the galaxy renowned assassin, and she kind of lived up to that title there in the finale when she like takes out all the crime boss people. So I also appreciate that they kept her character to the basics. And if we don't get anything else, then it's okay. But maybe a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I feel like it was a bit of a missed opportunity. And which is what I said, like, when they were like, Ming-Na Wen is in Star Wars, and then, bam, they shot her dead. And then they brought her back, and I was like, yay! Like, they didn't kill her. And they still just... I wanted them to let her do more, is all. And Bill Tyler meant Mon as a Star Wars kid name.
Oh, just like so.
Mon
Instead of Mon Mothma, is Mon Mothma? I guess Mon Mothma is her full name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mon.
I assume.
Mon as just like a name.
Mm-hmm.
That would be. Oh man, we already have to like tell people 2 or 3 times Hilo's name because they always think we say Kilo with a K. Then we're like, no, it's Hilo. Like hello minus one of the L's, and they're like, okay, whatever.
Whatever, weirdos.
I don't want to have to ask twice about someone's dog's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting name though.
And TJ Meeks here with the last super chat of the night, which is perfect timing because I need to get off to D&D soon. But thank you, TJ. What if Grogu starts to remember how to talk and he's voiced by H. John Benjamin? In all seriousness, it kind of sounded like he said dada in episode 7.
Wait, who is that though?
Bob's Burgers, Archer.
Oh.
The can of vegetables in Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh my gosh. I do love all of that person's voices. I don't know. I think we talk about this in the Q&A that's coming out on Saturday about like Grogu's future and how I feel about it. And so you'll have to wait and see what I say on the Q&A on Saturday.
Well, we don't talk about him talking.
No,
and I don't think he's going to talk anytime soon. I don't think he is going to develop past Baby Yoda stage in the show. Maybe at the very end. Mm-hmm. Like, I could see him saying something like in the last episode. I kind of think they're just going to keep him as Baby Yoda for the whole series. I
want to hear him at some point when Din is like going into a big fight. He's got the Darksaber, and Grogu will be like, "Hey, yo, Din! Get him with that Darksaber, son!"
You're like, what? Like, everyone stops fighting. And they're like, what did you just say? You could talk the whole time?
What? Yeah.
And that's how you talk.
I would be down for that, honestly.
I think it would at least make me laugh. But we're gonna wrap up for this week's stream. Thank you everyone for hanging out and watching us build, chatting with us, and in super chats. I made 4 feet today, and next week I'm gonna add on to the feet, and then the week after that I'm gonna add legs, and then stick them onto that.
Full legs. Yeah. We're
about to let this thing stand up. We're 2 weeks away from that. But yeah.
Maybe I'll build another animal.
We've got some more sets that you can build. We'll get the cow set out that I have lying around somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all. I feel like we have other streams to promote usually, but Book of Boba Fett's over, so we'll see you next probably Wednesday or Thursday. We'll figure it out. We said the same thing last week, but I'm rambling now, so I'm just going to end it. Thanks, everyone. May the Force be with you.